Welcome to self-discoverywisdom.com, formerly known as Self-Discovery Media. On these podcasts, you're going to hear people who speak from the heart. They've taken the journey in life. Many things have happened to them, but they've changed it to happening for them. And in their strength, their courage, they've discovered their abilities and their wisdom, and they are now sharing it here with you. Do enjoy each show. We bring it to you with love and knowing that it's going to help you on your journey of life. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Choose Positive Living right here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. I'm your host, Sarah Troy. My guest today is Nicole Gribstad. We're going to be talking about a lovely topic, actually. I really like the way she's worded this, God-radiant. The God gradient in your life called God-radiant life and how to live it. One's unique abilities and passions can serve a higher God-ordained. And we're going to be talking about what if one single event shifts your entire perspective or transforms your life. That faith foundation system, the system is designed to create a stable base from which all aspects of life can grow and flourish. The freedom framework build an emotional and spiritual strength to navigate life's challenges with a sense of peace and confidence that comes from deep connection with God. The divine design activator, understand how one's unique abilities and passions can serve a higher God-ordained calling and be the fuel to achieve your God-sized dreams. And the Godfident living blueprint, which is about transforming not only the mind, but the heart, leading to a life of purpose and peace. And develop a step-by-step daily method to operate in confidence, rooted in your identity, with as a daughter of the King. Nicole is an acclaimed best-selling author, a dynamic motivational speaker. She embodies the essence and transformative empowerment as a second deliverance mindset minister and insightful practitioner Bible application guide. She is a beacon of wisdom for those navigating their faith journey. And with a unique role as a homeschool parent, wellness advisor, Nicole expertly tailors her guidance to uplift, enrich the family unit. She specializes in equipping Christian professionals who are driven yet caught in the throes of overwhelm and confusion and anxiety. Her approach is not just one about finding solutions, it's about embarking on a journey towards purpose and clarity. And her strategies are about the harmonious blend of fun, fitness, freedom, fulfillment, and transforming both personal lives and professional endeavors into realms of boundless possibility. Boundless possibility is something we would all like to have in life. And very often people just don't realize whatever your connection, God, universe, spirit, source, doesn't matter what you want to call it, in your case, God, that when we let God in and be the compass, which ignites the heart and lifts the spirit into action, the mind will then know what it needs to know when it needs to know it. We've just got to step into trust, don't we? Welcome to the show, Nicole.
Thanks for having me, Sarah. It's great to be here with you.
So, you know, that's that faith-driven. Everything for you is faith-driven. And when we step into faith, then we actually understand we're not alone, that wisdom is always traveling with us. It knows how to extract what knowledge we need at the time. And it's just such a sense of peace because it leads us to that fulfillment and joy that we're looking for in life. But we've got to connect to it.
That's right. Yes, that's right. I now live and breathe every single minute of every day to realize that faith is everything. Only after many, many, many years of not knowing that, struggling through life, through all kinds of simple, complex, and challenging seasons and chapters in my life, living life, just appearing in the earth, going with the flow of society, culture, family, makeup, like anybody born into this world. You live and listen to mom and dad. You maybe have siblings or cousins or uncles. You watch them and how to live life. Then you go to school. Then maybe if you go to a church or some club of sorts, they will influence your way of living, thinking, mindset. No different from anybody. I went with the conveyor belt of life. Say, okay, this is how you live. You can watch movies and read books and learn from there too. And so you just, as a kid, I didn't think much about it, except I'm just going to go through life like everybody else. But what I found is just floating through life as it comes became very difficult. overwhelming. And I could go through the conveyor belt of life, but I found that I was struggling, seeking constantly for that inner peace. When I see other people have joy, peace, like most people covet other, I want to have that. I don't have what that person have. And as a believer, as a very young person, in my personal walk with my God, I had a personal encounter where God spoke to me audibly when I was in the village when about 5 years old. So for me, it's a very profound and real experience for me personally. That was even before I came to the States. I was in the village in Canton, southern China, is when that encounter happened. But when I came to the States in California, I went to church. That's I discovered my faith and Bible, and reading that, I discovered that's the same God that spoke to me. So my belief became more grounded in that sense. But interestingly enough, even growing up in the church as very young, my parents were not, but my siblings and I were. What I find interesting is I can intellectually understand Bible or academic material. There's a difference between knowing things in the head. I
Yes.
start to realize there's a difference knowing in the head and then in the heart. And then even after that, do I believe it, or it's just, information floating about for access? What I learned is that I knew things. I thought it was just enough to get me by. But as life went on, it was not enough, because things happened to me. I was like, you know what? It says that my God is great. It says Jesus saved things. And those are wonderful things. I love that Jesus is love. And I clung on to those things as a kid. Oh, that's wonderful. And I love the songs. I love these wonderful things. But when it came to the hardest things in life, when the things hit the fan, I found that I was like, I had nothing. I said, I start to like, why is that every time that I can go to church, I can read the Bible, I can do all these things. But when it came to when I really needed God, it wasn't working for me. So it really made me scratch my head, like, what's going on? And why do those people have it and I do not? So it gave me this long saga of a life search. I need to find out exactly what they are doing and what I don't have. And so it's a long search, I would say, my whole lifetime. I'm like middle age now, but I went through college on that. I was stuck. From relationships of interpersonal, dating, home life, siblings, school, how to do that. Every single thing was stressful for me. And I was afraid of everything, Sarah. Coming from China to a new country, dropping off into like metropolitan, coming from country life, village life was overwhelming. Immediate overnight change to change completely from provincial world to city life in a way. It was a mix of exciting, innovative, but scary, overwhelming, all at the same time.
Yes,
So,
yes, relate to that.
right, the exciting part is great, but the overwhelming part is not great. And so I used to think everybody has figured out except me. I'm like probably the dunce of the dunce. Like someone figure except me. I just don't have it. Everybody's walking on seeming peaceful, but I'm troubled by a million things, right? So as I saw it and I saw it and I saw it, I would say only I would say the last 3-4 years after the pandemic, when it truly hit, when it truly light bulb, my eyes became unveiled to what gives, right?
Yes.
What I found is a system that would work for anybody who apply this for this, the system works. What I found was you can learn things until you apply it. It is nothing for you, because knowledge is knowledge, but wisdom is the application of knowledge. You can know things, but if you don't take action, no results will come. So I can study physics, I can study math, I can read about flowers, all I want. I can read things about the culinary things in the kitchen, about making an egg. I can talk about egg all day long, but unless I go to the kitchen, make an egg, maybe fail a few times, I may not ever master the kind of egg and what the different things you can do with an egg, right? And
Yes.
so, yeah, have you experienced that before, Sarah?
100%. The whole thing, I call it listen, learn, and apply. This is what these shows are
Yeah.
all about, right? And is that we're so busy in our knowledge and in our heads that we're not truly listening to the heart. The heart is the gate that opens up, that allows the wisdom to come through. And if our hearts aren't open enough and we're only receiving knowledge, which is data, which is something learned, and you're trying to kind of work out what is this knowledge about? How am I meant to use it? Well, the wisdom is in how to use that knowledge. for
That's
whom
right.
and where to use that knowledge. And that is the compass, but the heart is the generator. And it's
That's
only
right.
when we tap into that wisdom and trust it and go, okay, I don't need to know. You're just going to download, you're going to give me. The heart will
Exactly.
resonate with it, the spirit will get into action, the mind will have the clarity it needs when it
Yes,
needs it. So a lot of people are busy trying to think and discover by thought, but you've got to feel. You
that's
have to
right.
embrace, you have to encompass, you have to let it come through you and be a part of you for you to truly actually understand what wisdom, that loving God-like wisdom is all about.
That's right. And we are living things. The important
Mm-hmm,
thing I realize is I have to really go back down to the foundational basics of if there is a God, he created me, but exactly why did he create me? Why am I here? People ask all that, why am I here? What am I doing here? So in my search, I discovered that the number one thing that why the Lord made us, just the reason why we have children at all, is for relationships. We want to
mm-hmm,
relate with them, we want to share life, all the up and downs, all the things of life, every single thing, the good, the bad, the ugly. It's not just the good, because in life there's everything, and everything is either a blessing or a lesson, right? They're all
yes,
for us.
yes.
That's why any given day is a gift. And so I discovered that if to simplify life, if God created us for relationships solely, then I need to really tend to that relationship
Mm-hmm,
and nurture that relationship, because out of that relationship, there will come the mastery, understanding how to handle every other relationship.
mm-hmm.
Because if God is perfect and he's great at relationships, success leaves clues. If God is successful, which we know he is, he's perfect, then if I keep following him, his lead, I will learn something. I will gain from his wisdom.
You'll
But out of the
understand. You'll
right?
understand. It comes into understanding. In a relationship, it's understanding because you're open and willing to receive. It
Right.
isn't prejudgment. It isn't assumption. You
That's right.
come to understand in a relationship and you truly see each other in whatever relationship, business, personal, relationship with God, relationship with life, relationship with self. When you get out of assumption or prejudgment or persecution, you then
Yeah.
truly begin to see and understand and feel what that relationship is. And that's when you can really start building one that's really founded in love.
Exactly. And as we hear from many different pillars and domains we run into, the question to ask is, what do you want and why? What do you want?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you want it? But it goes to many things. It's like, okay, what does God want? Why does he want it? And what do I want? And why do I want it? So I can go, why does Sarah want it? And why does Sarah? I can go like that to each individual and discover. We are like the detectives. We're here to detect and try to mind the knowledge and wisdom of God, you, me. It's a discovery, an opportunity
Yes.
every single day. And that, when you have that perspective, life can be very exciting. If I woke up today, if I knew my job was not to do anything except to discover, it's
Yeah.
going to be much more exciting. What will I discover when I walk down to the kitchen? What I discover about me today, in my mind, my emotions, everything, but not just about me. What can I discover about Sarah today, even today's podcast? What can I learn more about you? Because I'm here. This is our podcast date. What can I learn about my children? If you have, I find that with a different perspective mindset, it
Mm-hmm.
will blow us away. Does that ring a bell with you too?
Oh, a mindset is everything. I mean, this
Yeah.
genre that we've gone under is choose positive living. Choose, it is, I choose to see the sunny side of the street. That doesn't mean I'm not aware of all the
Yeah.
garbage on this side of the street. Is that
That's
I
right.
choose to feed that, right?
Yeah.
And it's like you're aware of the troubles in life. You're aware of the complexities or the downright out wrongs.
Yeah.
That are going on, the injustices that are going on. But unless you feed the sunny side of the street, where's the empowerment to do anything about it?
That's right.
Right? So
Well,
we have to step into that.
that's right. Like last night. What happened with my kid is a very good example. She's 13. She has homework. She had a load to do. Quite a few things happened yesterday. In her eyes, it was different, but in my eyes, and as adults have seen it, that's no different than any other day. But for her, it was a very different day. And at the end of the day, she broke down and cried. She said, "Today was a very bad day, Mom." And I was like, "Is it really a bad day?" But then I said, it's actually not a really bad day at all. It was a great day. Why? She couldn't understand why I could take her bad day and turn and say a great day. I said it's a great day because you got to live today. Yes,
Mm.
things didn't happen the way you wanted it, nor did you have planned, but yet it was good for you and you couldn't see what it's like, no, that couldn't possibly be good for me. But I
Yep.
had to break it down to see why it was good for
Yes.
her. She was not convinced. She's like, there's no way you're going to convince to me that today's a good day. But
And yeah, I mean, looking at the bad day, it's like, okay, things happened that were made you feel uncomfortable or that weren't pleasant.
yeah.
But when we change it around and go, okay, I didn't like what happened. Why? Could I have done something differently? What was my reaction to it?
Mhm,
And
mhm.
like, I'm actually here at the end of the day, no matter what has happened, still with the ability to make the choice on how I perceive the day.
Exactly. To ask yourself, why did you get angry?
Hmm.
Why did you break down? Why you're crying? Why you're sad? Getting to the what made
Yeah.
you and why is the breakthrough answers. And once you find the answers, then all is well. Because otherwise, then you are in confusion. And then you
Yes.
might get overwhelmed and stressed because you're trying to scratch your head like what you're trying to make what is what of today.
Mm.
So I find that when you have the right mindset, also the reminder that you can actually tell your brain what to think. You're in charge. It's not in charge of you.
Yeah.
You take charge of it. You're like, brain, you told me that was a bad day. I beg to differ, right? Cross-examination. I'm going to tell you it was a great day, right? And I'm going to say, think this, think that. So I learned to take from a place of powerless to powerful. I realized how powerful I really am. If I
Hmm.
only knew throughout my life and youth, for all the times when I felt it was a bad day, for all the times when I felt rejected, I was like, no, today's a great day because I learned a lot today, right? I got to do a lot of things. And in times when I woke up, I would say, would you agree that majority of our days were not, there's days we're sick, but I would be safe to say that majority of our days were not sick, right?
Yes.
So that
Yeah.
means I'm thankful I'm healthy today, no matter
Yeah.
what happens. Yeah.
I live with a condition that sometimes, if I don't pay attention to it, raises its head and kind of flattens me.
Yeah.
My office, unfortunately, is a closed-in balcony, and we've been below 10. And my office for the other day when I was interviewing was -3. So,
Ooh,
I'm up here with blankets and heater and down booties and cold hands, but I'm still grateful that I still managed to do it. Right. And it's like, was
yeah.
it ideal circumstances? Was I shivering? Yes, but I still managed to do it. And I think it's like looking at our obstacles or looking at it, things like I would prefer that that wasn't the case. But
Mhm.
having got through it, you go, well, if I can get through that, right? And it's always
Yeah.
looking at what else you can get through. And it's like,
Yeah.
we're not meant to have every day perfect. Those
Yeah.
down days or those obstacle days are there to remind us of and to be grateful of the days that do go very well.
That's
And
right.
if we've worked our way through a challenge today and we've got through the other side,
Yes.
hallelujah.
Yeah.
Right? Don't look
It's
at it,
not
oh God,
about
what a miserable day. Look at it, you got through it. Bravo.
right. So instead, it's not about perfection. It's about
No.
progress. And each
Yeah.
day that you complete, that means if you complete it yesterday, you can complete it today. You know that you're going to complete it tomorrow. This is what give you the confidence. And because like we went to a trip to Greece at the year around October. We
Hmm.
had many adventures, but we also have unexpected twists and turns. And
Hmm.
when you're going with a family, managing kids, it is a feat, Sarah. It
Yeah.
is a feat. So we come back as if we can survive that trip and had a great time. You pretty much can survive any day, any chapter, anything. Just apply the same system, how you went about it, whether things were rushed, whether things had gave you the pleasantry of taking your time. You just need to know in crunch time, you get into the mode. What got you successful last time? What did crunch
Yes.
time look like? And then in slow time, what did that look like? So when you observe your life, what didn't work and what did work, and then once you figure out a system that works, anybody who applied that, it would work for anybody. Would you say?
You've got to pay attention. I've got a lot going on right now because I've written my own memoir. I'm in 3 other anthologies. One of the anthology I'm producing, and the deadline is tomorrow to get it over to the publisher, and there's all that
Mhm.
last minute stuff. But one of the things I've learned, because otherwise you end up in a traffic jam, and when you're in a traffic jam, it all becomes overwhelming and you can't do anything. So I've
Mhm.
learned now to put the balls up in the air. All right,
Mhm.
which is the most important ball I need to bring down right now and deal with? All
Mhm.
right. Can I bring you down a little bit? I can do a little bit about you, but then put you back up. And it's don't overwhelm yourself by trying to do too much, by going, okay, pay attention and focus on what is important in the now. And there are
Mhm.
sometimes I've looked at those balls and gone, none of you are coming down today. This is a me day. This is a me day.
Right.
Because if
Yeah.
I don't give myself a me day, I'm not going to be able to cope with whatever those balls demand. So I think
Mhm.
it's also understanding you can have a day where you're just not going to. It's okay to take that time for yourself and replenish yourself. It's okay to say
Absolutely.
no, right? Because if you're not paying attention to yourself, then all of it's going to be too much. But it's also okay just to go, all right, the traffic jam is here. I'm, either going to put the balls up there, or if I'm stuck in the traffic jam, what can I deal with in the now? And ask for that divine energy. Help me focus on what is important in the moment.
100%. And as you know, we just got past the holidays. Great example of how we deal with stress and things like that. Because, we had spoken before the holidays, and I knew we had scheduled this call, and you had asked me for a few things. I didn't forget it, had it in my mind. But I had to make a few decisions. And the decision was, okay, the holiday's here. I remember Sarah asked for a few things from me. I didn't forget it, but I made a decision. But right now, I'm going to focus 100% to make this holiday work because I'm going to
Yes.
travel, gifts to think about, how to wrap, how to get to people. I decided to focus. I'm going to laser focus right now, take us conquer this thing and then the next thing. So after the holidays, I made another decision that I gave a lot. I pour myself out. It is time for me to do anything else, pour back into myself because now it's Nicole
Yeah.
time.
Yes.
Now I'm going to just pour into my cup, my coffee,
Hmm.
food, spa myself because I want to give myself until I'm overflowing because I know that I need to come from overflow. In
Yeah.
order to come from overflow, my cup needs to be full because I also know whatever's in the cup is for me. It's not for other people. It's the overflow that's for other people. And because you and I know, have a heart to serve and love people,
Hmm.
that's what we do. I know how important it is to fill my cup so I can have overflow to give. So I spent the following 2 weeks just completely, yes, I did things that I had to do as a mom, as a
Yeah.
wife, and while that's going, but beyond the must have, the non-negotiables, anything in between, I said, I'm going to claim it for myself. I'm going to love myself very, very well so that I can love other people very, very well. And if I'm lacking, there's no way I'm going to love you very well. So I'm happy to report that for the 2 weeks when I was done, I'm going to pour, and I'm not going to feel selfish. I'm not going to
No.
feel guilty,
No.
for doing that. I'm going to take care of my hair, my skin. I'm going to sleep with no alarm. No alarm, and I wake up when my body wants to wake up, right? So, and we also need to be the product of the product as
Hmm.
we coach it, preach it. We got to be the product because how else would you show that, right? And so I'm glad so that now I know that even it was only last night, it can be very stressful. It's like, oh, but I knew I still have to get the things out. But when I calmed down, when I did the non-negotiables, when I actually had a window of time, all this time I had in my thought thinking about Sarah, what we're going to talk about, so, but I didn't stress about it. I allow myself to think about it when I can. I allow myself not to think about it when I can't. So that when I actually came down to deliver for you, I had it all boom, 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 because it was in my head, but I didn't stress about it. And then I also was like, did she remember? I can think that, but I have to remind myself I'm not going to worry about it.
Right.
Why? Because there's several things I know about you from our last meeting. You're professional. You're like, I just trusted. In that short amount of time, trust was created. When you
Hmm.
like somebody, know somebody, trust somebody, you just relax because I know you got your end, I have my end. So that has a lot to do with that trust
Yeah,
piece.
and yes, I have got the ability now that normally I have everything in at least a week ahead to create the posting so that I've got something to refer to. And it came in this morning, and I'm busy doing it. And I normally do my shows at 11 at 1, and I didn't realize I had one at 10, and it was 20 past 10, and I just realized, panic, get there, catch her just before she goes off, and it's like it's okay to fail. It's like I double
Yeah.
booked today, and it's okay to fail. I know that, I had the virus. I'm only now getting over the virus. I'm
Mm.
catching up with everything. And unfortunately, yes, I am in a traffic jam right now. Those balls all did land. And just because of the time crunch of things that are expected of me, I have to do it. And does that mean I'm going to make mistakes? Yes, I'm human. I'm going to make mistakes. I wear all the hats. Sometimes the hats fall off, right? But I think it's also, I'm definitely going to allow myself a little bit down the road time for me, just for
Mhm.
me. But
That's
right
right.
now I am in that traffic jam. But it is okay to actually, okay, sometimes it's unavoidable. It's unavoidable. You're in it. But when you kind of, okay, I'm through that traffic jam, I'm moving forward. What time can I allocate for myself where I am shut off from the rest of the world and it's all about me? Because that
That's
is
right.
so important. I haven't had a day off in over a month. And
Yeah.
yes, it has caught up, and I do drop the ball when that happens, all right? But again, I think that is something that most people do understand when you explain, like the person that I had screwed up with today, perfectly understandable. Wonderful. Thank you very much for being understanding. If they are uptight in their own life, where
Yeah.
were you? I don't want you. I don't
Yeah.
want you on the air with me because if you can't be understanding and compassionate, how can you bring understanding and compassionate to my audience?
That's right.
Right?
That's right. And I was just going to say that it's really important who you surround yourself with. You are
Yes.
definitely the five people you hang around with. You become.
Hmm.
So that's why I can tell from the first time our energy matched so well. We just spoke so well that whatever we do will be a lot of fun. I mean, whatever that may be. So when
And
things
that's
are
the thing,
very,
whatever it may be, whatever is meant to be,
yeah,
will come to be because we play off each other and really the conductor up there is
yeah.
just conducting our music for us to play, right? And we're in tuned, and so what will be.
Yeah, it's like shopping, right? You
Hmm.
go to a store, you go, if you ideally you know what's best for you, you buy the right thing, you shop for your friends. Here I am with you. We can have hairy days, but we're here. As we're
Yes.
talking to each other, we're in agreement. There's peace. I have energy to pass to you, you have energy to pass to me, and we bless each other. So this
Mm.
is the recommendation, encouragement to everybody watching to this: surround yourself with the five people who you admire, who you want to become, who you know that will pour into you, will energize you rather than drain you.
Yes.
But every
Mm.
time you're in the presence, even though you may in your corner fighting your battles, when we come here, we pour into each other. So then when we're
Yeah.
done with this call, we're even more empowered, even more
Yeah.
energized.
That's the point, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know, I
yeah.
mean, I've done this with the lovely virus, the RSV virus. I've done this with COVID. I've done this with everything else. And as long as I've got a voice, I've done this because I've noticed every time I do that, when I align with the right energies, it lifts me up. We lift each other up, and you're left with this wonderful, beautiful vibration that helps in
Right.
all the other aspects of your life. And yes, it is so important who you surround yourself with, who you listen to. It's like the seeds you plant. First, foremost, what are those seeds? What are the intention behind those seeds?
Mm-hmm.
When you plant them, are you watering and nurturing them, not tugging at them, watering
That's right.
and nurturing at them and allowing them to grow when they're meant to grow? And are you paying attention as to whether do they need to stay in the ground or and grow even bigger, or do you need to pick them? But we're so busy rushing to the next thing and the next thing that we're not paying attention to what we planted and we should be nurturing because it's growing for us.
Absolutely. Like even right now, when you tell me your days, I didn't know, but as you tell me, in my thought life, I'm thinking, remember to pray for Sarah later. Remember to pray
Thank you.
her recovery. All these, you tell me how hard it was in my heart because of the person that I am, which I know you are too. In my heart, I'm going to be wishing you well. I'm going to be thinking about you and your deadline tomorrow. And here I am with you. So I appreciate your smile, your makeup, your hair, your dress, because I know you put effort to it. I put effort into mine. We appreciate these things about each other. They mean something. They're not like meaningless things, right? Because they say so much about you because you picked that outfit, you picked your hairstyle, you did it all. And it communicates, even without you telling me, so much about you. I can learn about you. I also know why I'm here. I know exactly why I'm here and what I want, right? What I want is I want to know you more. I'm here because I want to listen to your story. I want to hear your perspectives. I want to learn more about you because I think you're a beautiful, neat person, right? And
All right,
so
I get you. That's why you're here.
and so, but because I want to pour into your day, when we're done with this call, I want to make sure, and I know why. When you leave this call, I want that you felt like it was your time well spent, that you invested
Yes.
time with me here. Like, I'm so glad I met with Nicole. I'm so glad I go with Sarah because when I go out to my day, I'm going to think about you. I'm going to be talking about you.
Yeah.
I'll be telling my kids, oh, Sarah was great. Our meeting was wonderful. Everything was wonderful, and we just organically went with the flow. And I love that,
Well, that's the God ingredient, isn't it? That's
Yeah.
it's about attitude. Gratitude, you know, and it is when you come at things. Okay, all right. You can even talk. I've had a shitty day. All right, but you're still smiling about it. All
That's
right,
right.
and it's like,
Yeah,
whoa, I had a doozer today. All right,
that's
whew,
right.
I'm glad it's over, but I'm still smiling. Right.
That's
And
right.
that's the point. And even when you do get frustrated or angry, which we do. I mean, I've just done a show on such injustice on a woman that it was just, it's mind-boggling that it was allowed to happen. And I do get upset about that because of such injustice and how
Yeah,
people can be so cruel. But we've got to understand when things are done wrong by people, they're not connected to heart and soul. They cannot be connected to conscience without that heart and soul. And
that's
then
right.
living what we call the third dimensional life, which is just living in seeking everything on the outside to try and gratify the whole on the inside,
That's
instead
right.
of allowing the divine to come from the inside, fortify and fill us so we can exude on the outside. So
That's
as much as a bad taste and angry I can get about it, at the same time, it's feeding the survivor and the thriver who she's become rather than the injustice that was done for her. But if we don't pay attention to the injustices, how can we rise up to fight against them?
that's
It
right.
requires all of us to fight against them. All of us have got to rise up.
Yeah, and you said the right thing is what I had in mind too, is that it's how we how and who and where what we are sourcing the truth, right?
Yes,
What is truth? We are happy when we have faith, not blind, not faith in false things, faith
yes,
in true things,
yes,
believing good things, because I can sit in peace knowing that I'll do my best. I will be the hero of my day. You're the star of today, right? Like you just said earlier, you could have a shitty day or a sad day, happy day. But here's the important thing. Your identity is not shitty. Your
yes.
identity is not sad. That doesn't change your identity.
No.
What you're talking about is Sarah living through Monday, Tuesday,
Mhm.
Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. It's Sarah going to a wedding, but the wedding is not Sarah. Sarah's
No,
not the wedding. That's not your
I'm not my
identity.
disease. My disease just happens to be accompanying me. And that's the point.
Exactly.
It's how we look at things
Yeah.
in life, right? And
It's this journey. God places here as an adventure. Here, now go, Nicole. Now go, Sarah. Enjoy life. But you're not defined by that.
exactly.
You're my daughter who I sent on the earth to enjoy this because I love you. I want you to have this adventure. I want you to learn and be blessed by in every way. Each day, I had a Monday. I had a
Mm,
Tuesday. I had a Wednesday. I'm not going to say that was a bad Monday. This is a good one. I'm not going to start categorizing
yeah.
because what happened is we take our focus on what matters the most. That doesn't matter
Yes.
so much. We're trying to move forward to the next Monday, the next Monday, the next Monday, because we're here to leave a legacy. We're here to live, enjoy life with God, but also to leave a legacy for our grandchildren, the young and the old. When it's way past us, the books we leave behind, the anthologies, we want to leave our energy, our mark, our love, our heart so that they can enjoy. We also know that you can choose what kind of mark you leave. You can
Yes.
choose, right? A mark that people want to follow or a mark that people don't want to follow.
A good
Right.
vibration or a bad vibration. Why do I
That's
want to put my time and effort into a bad vibration? I want to be amongst the good vibrations, right? And you
exactly.
say, what frequency are you leaving behind? What frequency are you leading with? And when you're in the
Right.
love frequency, which is the God frequency,
Yeah,
because when you are in that love, you can't knowingly do any harm to anyone else. To do so is to harm yourself. When
that's
you're
right.
in that God frequency, you're exuding out that love. That doesn't mean you're blind or deaf or dumb to what's out there. It just
Yeah,
means from that love, you are there to support people in their need. And
right,
it transcends beyond you because it's the ripple effect of that love ignites other love, ignites other possibilities, ignites those choices that are the right choices to live positively. But it's all up to us. We can be the
that's right.
exuberant light for people. We can
Yeah,
be the inspiration that's the invitation. But
exactly.
they've got to listen, learn, and apply and step up and go, I want to feel like that. That's the first thing. You want to feel like that? Step forward.
That's
Step
right.
forward. We'll show you the way.
It's interesting you say step forward. What I found in my own struggles and other people too, when we say step forward, it's actually sometimes not as easy as we put it because we have fears in our way. When you're
Mhm.
speaking, I was thinking what holds people back, what held me back in the past is fear. So it's important to find out what are your worst fears.
Mhm.
Getting on the other side of your worst fear is your breakthrough. So for me, I grew up, right? I came from a village. I come from immigrant parents who worked sweatshops to raise me. My fear was, oh, how my parents will last. How will we make it by? They were minimum wage. In this world, there's inflation. We couldn't afford a few things. So there's fear. There's things that I want. I had big dreams, big Cinderella type dreams of
Hmm.
castle and, this and that and beautiful dresses. But I'm thinking there's no way minimum wage is going to be cutting it, because I'm just be glad if we avoid some curtains or some tablecloth, right? So there was worry in my mind. I don't know if you ever be worried about things about, what if I become homeless, right?
I
What
have
if,
been.
yeah, then, oh, and I would love to hear that story. Those fears, but what gave me peace was to know that I'm also, my mom passed away. We were pretty close about my age now. When I was younger, only like maybe over 15 years ago. So then I'm like, oh, what if I passed away the same, age my mom? What? There's so many fears
Mm.
until, thank God there's a higher power. Thank
Hmm.
God there is an infinite being to my finite physical being. So in my weakness, I am, but there's someone greater than I,
Yes.
that wherever I stop, he begins, and he's got me. So that also gives me a great sense of peace. But that required was the difference between knowledge, back what I was saying earlier. You can know these things, but it doesn't work for you until you believe it. The Bible talks about how great God is, how omnipotent, omniscient, omnipresent. It talks about that. First, I didn't know what that was all about. I had to understand it. Second, do I really believe it? Do I believe that God is everywhere, all knowing, all powerful? Because until I believe it, it didn't work for me. It was when I was pressed hard until and maybe this is just human nature. We come to a point of the end. We tried everything last straw before we really are forced to believe in those things of the Lord. I knew those things, and I still try to do things in my own power until I was left with absolutely no more options. I had
Hmm.
no more choice but to really give it a try. That's when I say, okay, what if I really believe God is all powerful for me? What if I really believe he is everywhere? What if I really believe he's all knowing? When I start believing that, Sarah, that's a game changer.
Yes.
That's when
You stepped forward.
I stepped forward,
You
but I
made the
wasn't afraid
choice.
to.
I'm choosing now to believe.
Yeah,
I don't need you to prove me. I know it doesn't matter how
yeah,
much rationale you give me, but I'm
yeah.
choosing to be open to
That's right.
believe and receive. And that choice is that stepping forward.
But there's some fear in choosing all these wonderful. You would think like, well, what's so hard to choose? If God is so wonderful, why don't you choose it sooner? Because there's this fear, earthly fear, is like, but if I chose God, what if I become a nun? I don't want to become a nun. What if I
Yes.
choose God? I will never have fun things on earth again because it's so
That you
dark.
have to abstain from life altogether and joys, and you've got to be poor and everything else. It's it's kind of that dictation, an outside dictation of
Exactly, the
what the God
whirlwind.
connection is, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's something, but you don't even need to go to church to get with God. God is with you. You've got a direct channel, right?
Yeah,
It's something personal to you, and all these exterior things of you've got to give up this, you've got to live in a poor home, you've got to be poverty, you've got to wear
yeah.
barefoot. That's it's an old archaic thinking of
Yeah.
sacrifice. We do make sacrifices, but what we actually understand, what we're sacrificing is something that didn't serve us in the end anyway.
Yes, what I discovered was what my fear was, all a lie, a deception. Because
Yes.
what I found, what God really wants, because it says, die to yourself and be alive in me. For me, the first response is, I don't want to die. First of all, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not interested in death. I'm still living. I want to live. I don't want to die. But I didn't understand the concept.
Yes.
Now I do. What I understand is the Lord is saying, I want to trade you for your fake pearls because I want to give you the real strand of pearls. I
Yeah.
want to trade your limited thinking to my big thinking. I want to trade in every single earthly limited you are so I can give you an infinite, eternal everything, whether it's eyesight, hearing, taste buds, thinking, all of it. So once I come to understand it, I became much more eager to let go of
Yeah.
myself. Oh, if that's the case, quick, die to myself, quick trade, quick take it, because yours is much more shinier, wonderful, more fabulous and glorious than mine. And I've already experienced half my life. I already know what that's like. It wasn't so glorious, shiny, or
Right.
beautiful.
Exactly. You
You know?
surrendered.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is that I call it blind, deaf, and dumb in order to see, hear, and feel. right?
Yeah. Hmm.
And it's when you surrender and go, I surrender and I allow.
Yeah.
I am surrendering to your beautiful force of wisdom and energy. And
Hmm.
I allow you to come through me, not with a preconceived idea,
Yeah.
not with a dictation, right? And not with a nothing, just the absolute nothingness. And I think for human beings, for us to step into nothingness, I am absolutely open. I am nothing and I'm open and ready to receive. That
Hmm.
vulnerability of opening up and then allowing it to come through, to come within, to literally penetrate every pore and essence of you, and you're stepping into the light that you are, then you truly actually do understand what the beautiful essence of enrichment and abundance is. And it's not the fancy car, the big house, the Armani clothes or any of that, or how
Yeah.
many likes and followers. It's about how enriched and abundant you feel from the inside out that you're almost bursting.
That's right. It's ownership. You know what
Mm.
the Lord revealed over the holiday is Christmas is not out there.
Hmm.
Christmas is in here.
Yeah.
The joy and the light and the glitters. If you don't have it here, you don't have Christmas. So that's why even Christmas, you can feel lonely and sad. Some people are very miserable over the holidays because they don't have it here. They're
Yeah.
relying on all the outside to make it so for them. But he said, if you have that message in you on your lips and you have that song in your heart, you will
Hmm.
sing throughout the year more than Christmas.
Hmm.
There's also, when you were talking, I was thinking two doors. One door you should close to, the other door you should open wide and then guard it. The door you should close to is the negativity, the darkness, the
Yes.
lies, right? Don't open that, guard that gate shut. The one of truth and light, open that open wide and let it come gushing, flooding
Yes.
in. It's important to know these two doors, which one to shut and guard, which one to open and keep it wide open. But that requires a little bit of discernment and mastery over time and intentionality, right?
Intentionality. That is most certainly it. Is that again back to that surrender and opening up? Is that you get to a point where I mean, I was born a spiritual being and always been a person who's been here to be a heart and soul igniter. That was my job, and it's been
Uh-huh,
my job for many lifetimes.
uh-huh,
But I was up against this human expectation that I could never fulfill. I was
mhm,
trying to be a people pleaser. I gave
okay.
everybody what they wanted, and they wanted my spirituality for their benefit. And then there was the shutdown, or you're not enough, or don't want to deal with you, or blah blah blah, and you would get lost. And I was flapping in the wind as a human being. And my soul kept saying to me, just merge with me, just merge with you. I've got you. And it took a long time for me to finally go, okay, and allow my human self to merge with my soul and then become one, and then realize the empowerment in being myself. And that
Mhm,
I can be that light and beacon for those that are ready to see and feel what I have to give. And that I'm not here to please people.
that's
Right?
right.
I'm here to be pleasing unto my message and what I'm here to do. And if you pick up that pleasure and apply it and it helps you, hallelujah. But
That's
that's your
it.
responsibility, not mine.
That's right. And when I think also the Lord is crazy in love with you and me, what does that imply? What does that mean? And
Yeah.
why does God love me so much? You know, when you think
Mm.
about him, you say, I've done made many mistakes. And sometimes the negative voice can say, who do you think you are? You're not that lovable anyway, right?
Yes.
But the
We'll
Lord
be
says,
there. We'll heard that message.
right? And so it's terrible when that voice comes and
Oh,
puts you in your place. You're like,
piss
who do you
off.
think you are? But the Lord comes and say, hey, you know what? That doesn't define you. You know, I'm crazy in love with you. Don't be distracted. Don't forget that. Don't let the other things come and mar this true truth. Is that I love you. In my eyes, you're perfect, and I'm in love with you. It took a little soul searching to
Mm.
realize, okay, whatever the Lord sees, whatever the Lord loves, I need to find what He sees about me and what He loves, and I need to fall in love with that. I need to
Yes.
see fall. When I fall in love with that person, then I come from overflow. So then I'm like, I can enjoy your friendship, but it's not dependent on it. I can enjoy
Exactly.
a significant other, but I'm not a burden. It's not like my
Mm.
life dependent on it. Without those things, I'm independent, just the Lord and I. The other stuff are extra wonderful blessings, but it took forever to find that out. It even takes work. Would you agree? It takes
Yes.
some effort and work to self-love, self-discover. It's quite some mining job to do, would you say?
And do it without any apologies. Right?
Yeah.
No apology. I
Yes.
am what I am, as Popeye says. All right. Take me
Yes.
or leave me. All right. I am not defined of whether you can receive me or not receive me. I'm
Yeah.
here just to be what I am meant to be, doing what I was designed to do in that loving light. All right. And you either see or feel and share my essence, or you don't. And that's the thing I think of, the attachment. As human beings, we're looking for the attachment,
Yeah.
approval,
Hmm.
right? Do you like me? Do you love me? Do you approve of me? And that validation we're constantly seeking leaves us lacking. When we
Yeah.
step into God's love and we become that love, and that love is in every pore of us, we don't need
Right.
that validation from the outside.
That's right. So my question for you, Sarah, is like, you have so much wisdom and knowledge to share. For which point and was your kind of light bulb turning point where you start to discover what I discover, like, hey, all these about self-love and my significance, I'm the funnel, I have all this power and this choice. Like, what was that process like for you? What were those turning points? Because I love to hear that. What did it for you? Uh, so that you can bring forth all your goodness, because I can see you have all that. But that usually means you went through your struggles, right?
Oh yeah,
Everybody.
yeah, 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 yeah. I went through some struggles, yeah. The
So
funny
how
thing
did you
is,
overcome?
I was a very sickly child, and
Mhm.
so my mum used to put me to bed. I was asthmatic and had eczema, and back in those days we didn't have Ventolin, and so when you became sick, it was rushed to the hospital. And my mum wanted to prevent that, so as soon as I coughed or sneezed, I was in bed, and I could be there weeks on end, blank walls. So what are you going to do with these blank walls? I'm a young child. I had this from the age of 2, so I would dimensional travel. And I would go to all these beautiful other planes and universes, and I'd pick up this knowledge and this wisdom. And as a child, I would be able to say the right things to people at the right moment when they needed it without even understanding. I was being the spiritual being. And I was right up until my early 20s. And then I kind of went and did the human experience. And I was in places that really I started seeing the drudgery and the negativity of
Mhm.
humanity. And it did take me over for a while. I then moved to Canada and I met my ex-husband, and that became a journey in itself. I had the greatest gift, 4 gifts I got, 3 beautiful children, and a rediscovery of myself and the soul ignition, because he loved the fact I had all this spirituality about me, but then systematically, as they do, like a butterfly, they want to net you and contain you. And I
Mm,
just started withering and dying away. And I lost myself in that marriage.
I see.
A very kind of narcissistic and controlling person. You can't do that to the spirit. The spirit does not have any borders or boundaries. It needs to be abundant. And it was being chiseled away, and I lost myself. And it was a long time in that
Yeah.
darkness trying to come out.
Yeah.
I was still of service to other people, but I wasn't of service to myself. And
Oh,
uh,
okay.
and it took me going through the journey of removing past lifetimes. It took me the journey of I have to be in service. When I'm in service, I'm in purpose, I'm in God's truth, right?
Uh-huh.
But what I couldn't do is bring that service to me. And it was, after my divorce and then exploring other things. And I've made one hell of a lot of mistakes, which I cover in my own memoir. A hell of a lot of mistakes. But it was always from those mistakes, there was a huge lesson to learn, a huge redirection. And everything was leading me back to my divine purpose of getting back into that divine light of that wisdom, allowing it to come through me. And, from becoming homeless, from losing everything, from becoming bankrupt, from trusting someone and putting my money in the wrong place, um, I was led on this path of podcasting. And I didn't even know what a podcast was when I was asked to join a network. And I didn't
Uh-huh.
have the money to do it, but somehow found it. I was virtually
Wow.
homeless, but I still managed to do it. And
That's
it's coming up
awesome.
to 12 years, and it totally took me on the path I was meant to be on. But I
Mhm.
wouldn't be able to do this path if I didn't have all the other experiences. So
Yeah,
I
that's
was given
amazing.
the experiences, and some of them were very dark, and
Mm.
some of them were really, I thank you. I don't want to go through that one again, right?
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
but it was discovering of my strength and my courage, my resilience, my meaningful purpose, my truth, and that realignment back into it. And it was allowing that voice, the wise voice, to be overpowering my voice, by me not dictating what I should be, but surrendering and allowing myself to become.
That is powerful. And, as I journey with life, I discover so many people can relate to you about getting lost in a relationship or a marriage. So many people say, I've lost myself. And yet, for those who are empaths and givers, I can serve others, but I don't know
Yes,
how to serve myself. Can you
yes.
talk a little bit more on what that's, because I can relate, and a lot of people can, because as you're designed to be an empath, you're good, and it's give, give, give. But it's dangerous when you keep doing
Yes.
not knowing how to serve yourself. So how did you overcome that?
Well, I mean, I completely emptied.
And
I
what
gave
did you
so much
learn?
that I was depleted, and my depleted actually and then opened up to a disease, and my
Okay.
body broke down and everything broke down. And then I retreated for a good 8 years within to myself. But I knew I had to come back out into the light. It kept calling me. It kept saying, you're not meant to be here in the dark. It's safe to come out. And I didn't want to. I didn't want to. No, it's cruel out there. I don't want to
Yeah.
be out there. Leave me alone. And then it was slowly kind of coming back out into the light, almost being blinded by it, feeling the shadows chasing me, and then getting to that point of trust and belief and understanding that I can go back into the dark, which I do all the time because I am the light in the dark,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But it is the willingness to, you, resistance is futile. You cannot
Yeah,
avoid. Right?
yeah.
At some point, you're going to have to come out. At some point, you're going to have to let the light in. And the thing is, when you're in that human state of pain and have been let down, you're thinking at things from a human level of, yes, but what if it hurts me? What if I'm trusting the wrong thing? Let's say
Mhm.
it's my stupid low hand thing keeps going like Italian, the hands go back and forth. Um, and it's if we stop looking at from the human side of things, God doesn't let you down. The
No,
universal spirit love, whatever you wish to call it, does not let you down.
that's
It's
right.
here to show you the truth, for you to be the truth. And that when you surrender to that, you're actually letting go of the pain, which
Mhm.
doesn't mean that you forget. It's just that you no longer have pain attached to it.
That's right. You learn for as part of your story. And
Yes.
so you talk about letting go, and
Mm-hmm.
it's not that you're without darkness, but because you got out of the darkness,
Yeah.
you know how to go in and out and navigate the darkness better.
Yes.
It's like
Yes.
because you've fallen so many times, but you get up each and every time.
Mm-hmm.
That creates the confidence because you learn about yourself. It's a discovery. You know what Sarah's going to act like, what Sarah's going to do, and decide when it comes, you're going to do the same. It may be look a slightly different, but because that's the mastery part. I know how to get out, and I know how to teach other people to get out, and
Yeah.
let's do it patient. And that's the impact we can have and the influence, right?
But you know it. I mean, it's we need the silence, we need the stillness, and we need sometimes the darkness. We need that because that is where in that presence, the reflection of what is important will come to us. Right. So that is whether people are using it in meditation or doing it in prayer. It's really, really important that we go into that silence and into that presence because that is where we are at one without any of the chatter, without anything else, right? And it's like, I am still, I'm ready to receive. And then the visions that you're given or hear or feel, whichever is the way that you receive, that will lead you on the path forward. And so it's trust the silence, trust the presence, trust the prayer or trust the meditation, whatever way you do it, and walk in nature, trust it, right? What is it for
Yep,
you? Is it prayer? Is it meditation? Is it nature? Is it getting up and dancing? What is it for you that
exactly.
that uh, that takes you into your space?
Yeah, it's called filling the cup is how I always see it. When trauma comes, when situation comes, imagine we're a cup, but we get knocked over. In the knocking over, some portion of things fall out. So,
Yes,
initially you get overwhelmed because maybe when you're younger, it happens, you don't know how to put things back inside. You just spilled and you became somewhat empty. But until you learn to fill it back up and put things
hmm
back in, but once you do that enough, it's like, oh, I can be spilled many times because I know how to fill it again,
exactly,
right? So
exactly.
now, if every single time something knocks me and you can recognize this is a trauma, it
Hmm
knocked me, whether it was a trigger, whether it was an event or a word or
hmm
something, some weather, whatever it may be, I recognize it knocked me. Because
Yes.
until you realize you got empty somehow, you wouldn't know how to fill it. But if
Right.
you recognize something spill out, I need to put it back in. Not anything, but the thing that served me the best.
Yes.
And when you put it back, you can come as a whole person every single time and
Hmm.
restore, 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 revive, refresh. And that is an ongoing oscillation process that we can sing about, be happy about. That's going to create the confidence and the confidence that these are things we do. But
Yes.
beyond what we do, I'm so glad beyond what Nicole and Sarah does, God is doing his thing.
Yeah.
And whatever I missed, he completes. So
Yes.
once I understand that he is there for me, I do my part. He does his part. If you believe in the devil, he has his part. I know I'm aware, not that I'm not aware who he is, what he does. I'm aware he's there. I know
Yes.
who he is. I know how to deal with him.
I know
I
how to
know how
keep
to,
that door closed.
right? To close
Yes.
that door and keep it completely closed.
Yeah.
I know how to be me, but I now, with all this, I know how to empower you and other people. Now that makes you feel good. That's the fulfillment. I can feel good and happy, but I feel good as an empath coach person when I get to be pouring into you, empowering you so you can go empower other people and the ripple effect and
Yeah.
all that keeps going wider because our world needs better
Oh,
things.
my God,
Everything,
does it. My God,
right?
does it. Absolutely. You know that the more you pour your love out, the more your generator creates more love. So it
That's
doesn't
right.
matter if you do spill, you never empty. Because
Yeah.
automatically that love, keeps regenerating. And sometimes, it might be kind of a spill with the universe is saying, okay, at the present moment, now I just don't want you giving out. I need you
That's
to
right.
pause, take a moment to reflect, maybe fill up for just yourself and rejuvenate before you keep pouring it out. Because, when
Right.
you are that kind of person, where pour, 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 pour everywhere, right? And sometimes
Yeah.
it's like, no, no, it's okay. Just let your cup be full. You don't need to let it pour out right now. And it's
Right.
recognized, but you're more in tuned with those messages. And
Yeah.
people talk about heaven and hell. Hell is here on earth. We see it all the time in politics, in the
Yeah.
way we treat each other, in the wars and the hate and the divide, and in this the scamming and the thieving and the distrust and all of it's there.
Yeah.
That's the devil that's feeding
Yeah.
there,
That's
right?
right.
But the heaven on earth is when you step into the essence of that God's love,
That's right.
become the essence of that love. As you said, that ripple effect. What it is a raising of consciousness. And with that raising of consciousness, getting higher and higher level and arms around the world, reaching out, fingertips to fingertips to fingertips around the world. By
Mhm.
raising that frequency, we become the answer, we become the solution. And we also start healing ourselves and start healing the planet. And
Mhm.
the devil doesn't win because he can't survive. They can't
Yeah.
survive in this vibration. And unless they join us, they'll go by the wayside.
That's right. There was a time in my life where I feel, I grew up in LA, and people talk about all the time being discovered at here, there, in restaurants and whatnot. And I had this thing notion of like, well, what if I never get discovered, right? What if I never get seen? I become a nobody, a loss. I just exist an insignificant
Mm-hmm.
thing moving about. I fear insignificance so much, I realize. But once, like what you said, once you understand
Mm.
the hell is on earth, but
Yes.
heaven is also on earth. That's
Mm.
a game changer because you're like,
Yes.
okay, how do I manage and maintain this hell on earth? Close the gate. How can I bring more of heaven on earth?
Yeah.
Once I realize how to do that, oh, I go there often, Sarah.
Yeah.
I know that for me, my heaven on earth is in God's holy presence. For me personally, I read the Bible, I sing praises, and when I'm not doing any of that stuff, I'm teaching it. If I'm not teaching it, let's say I'm brushing my teeth, I'm listening to music that empowers me. When I'm in the shower, because I understand sound bites, I understand the influence, the frequencies. I'm not gonna how I guard it is gonna fill all the good stuff. There's no
Mm.
room for the bad stuff to come. Because if
Right.
I give it room, it will automatically gladly fill the void. So once I realize I actively fill, it's in my power to do so. There's
Yes.
no chance. And let's say I got tired sometimes, let go. Let's say some negative did come. That's normal. That's human nature.
Yes.
But I know how to fill it, funnel it back out. I know how to
Yeah,
filter.
you acknowledge the feeling. Okay, it's the
Yeah,
anger. It's this, that. It's an old memory. Okay, I see you, but you don't belong here anymore.
that's
Goodbye.
right.
Or of the love essence just frizzles it away.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah, that's right.
So it is again, it is what you feed, what you choose. what
Yeah.
your gratitude attitude is, you know, your
Mhm.
gratitude and all of that. It's what we choose. As I said, I choose to see the sunny side of the street. That doesn't mean I don't know that darkness side of the street, the dark
Mhm.
alley life that
Mhm.
is is humanly disgraceful and soul
Yeah.
wrenching, you know.
That's right.
But how am I going to empower anybody there if I'm there? And I did do that. I did kind of go down into those trenches, trying to lift people up, and all it did is pulled me down. So
Yeah.
we have to be that abundance and that light and let our cup run over because that will trickle down to the people. And it can't help anyone until they step forward and say, I am ready for help.
Yeah. So how did you, and that's also a common thing. Sometimes inadvertently we surround ourselves with the wrong people, wrong habits, wrong things. And without even thinking about it, next thing you know, we are being pulled down. So for
Yes.
you personally, in those situations when in your worst trenches, and I also know that in the trenches, that's where the nuggets are. That's where we learn our biggest lessons.
Yes,
So for
yes.
you in your trenches, how did you free yourself from that and never to go back? Unless you choose to for empowerment. But how was it for you? What was the thing that you used to release yourself from that and to not ever go back?
I'm a horribly patient person and believe I have the ability to see the core essence of someone.
Mm,
And, you know, I'm there to be able to let them see that core essence. What they do with that essence, though, is up to them. And
mm,
some of those people have stepped into that core essence and then got egotistical with it and
mm,
taken it down a different road to what it was purpose it was. And
mhm,
I would be there trying to steer them back, keep them back on track to a point where everything shuts down. You can't do this anymore. That's
mm.
it. You can't do this anymore. And you know, I'm one of those people. Keep believing, and you know, um, it's you know, like Sarah, for God's sake, see the writing on the wall. But no, I could change
Yeah.
the writing. But you know, sometimes it's just you can't help people by igniting the power within them. Instead of using that power for good as it was meant to be, they've gone and used it in a different way, and that is out of my control. And when I realized finally there is like a pushback, like fearless pushback. No,
Mm,
you're not doing it anymore. No.
yeah.
But I am a bit thick-skinned because I keep believing, hoping that because I can see the goodness in them, but if they've gone and chosen a different path, that is out of my control. But I give the benefit of the doubt. A little less now. A lot
Sounds,
less now.
it sounds to me like you got to the point where you put your foot down.
Yes.
And it sounds to me like you got to a point where you learned to draw the healthy boundaries.
Mm,
Because the empath that you are, you can't help yourself but to love all the time. That's just how God made you.
yeah.
Drawing a healthy boundary, you realize I have all these gifts and all these wonderful things, and not everybody is. I'm not required, or should I give it to everybody? I should only give it to those who serve me well too. They'll not take and empty me and make me
Yeah.
until I'm nothing, because I need to guard and protect. As this is the part where, as much as you love other people,
Hmm.
how do you maintain loving yourself without losing yourself, but still loving them? Not allowing the others to take from you to the point where you're so empty you can no longer
Yes.
give. That's drawing the boundaries. Like, I can love you and give you under these terms, in these boundaries. Don't cross this line, because crossing this line is taking from my cup, and I need to guard that.
And my
Yeah.
cup was that line was way too far back. And it was kind of like when I was on my last drop,
Yeah.
right, in the cup. And then it was realizing I was being the sacrificial lamb. I'm almost, my
Oh,
mother's a martyr. I was kind of martyring myself without realizing it. It's okay as long as they're okay, right?
yeah.
And then realizing it myself, like all this love that you're pouring into anyone else, everyone else, where's the love for you?
That's right.
How can you use God's love and give it to everyone else and bypass you?
Yes. Well, that's realizing self-worth. As much
Yes.
as you find other people you love so much, but remember who you are,
And that
right?
is important. Our cup
Yeah.
need to be full of so it can run us
Yeah.
over. And if our
Yeah.
cup isn't, all we're doing is everything that goes into the cup we're giving away. And our cup
Yes.
starts to crack because there's nothing in it.
That's right. And even that sends messages to people, because
Yes,
if you can't even love and adore yourself, how is anybody else going to love and adore you? You're sending them a
exactly.
message like, you shouldn't adore me either because I don't. Or if you adore
Yeah.
yourself, you should also adore me because I find myself quite adorable, right?
Yeah.
And so learning to love yourself is that you should also, it's like handing the toolbox to somebody else to educate them how to care for you. And until you do that, because they're not you, they cannot do as good a job unless you give them all the supplies they need to care for you, right? And it's
But there's
important.
all programming that people need to overcome there, and I'm sure you come across
Yeah.
it with your clientele, is that, oh yes, but I don't want to come across as narcissistic or, self-important. And it's like, but there's the important, one of my companies that used it was the importance of self, not
Yeah.
self-importance. Self-importance
Mhm.
is the ego-driven, but this importance of self, of replenishing and being all that you can be so that you can be of service to others. It's a different mindset. But we're
Yeah.
not brought up, and especially my generation, we're not brought up to be like that. Everything is to serve others, and who do you think you are? And it's all
Yeah.
about sacrifice and sacrilege. And,
Yeah.
and so it is teaching people a different way of thinking, that how can you serve anyone else until
Yeah.
you've served and loved yourself? How can you honestly give love to someone else unless you truly know what love is of self,
That's
right?
right.
And so it's reprogramming that mind that's been there for eons. So it's in the ancestral DNA, and it's in all the old teachings, and it's reprogramming that mind, is that you matter. All lives matter. You matter. And
That's
until
right.
you matter to yourself, how can you matter to anyone else?
That's right. It has to do with what you mentioned about generation strongholds.
Mm,
That's what help people release, but sometimes it's hard to even recognize. I'll
yes.
give you a really good example. I am a loving person. I have all these good intentions. What I realize when I reflect back is I would say, I love my mom. I love
Hmm.
my dad. I love all these people in my life. So in me, where I exist, I'm very loving. But what I didn't realize in my loving, I didn't take the actions to love them though. You see,
Mm,
I can say I love mom and dad, but did I really go affirm them today? Did I
mm,
go and speak their love language? I
mm.
was enjoying the love within myself, but did not realize it.
You weren't
But did I
sharing
go
it.
and say, hey, did I say, hey, mom, I appreciate you today when you did this,
Mm,
and I love this about you and dad? Because that is when they feel the love.
hmm.
Until they feel the love,
Gratitude.
yeah, until they feel my love stays with them. It didn't go
Yes,
anywhere. It
you
didn't have
didn't.
impact.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yes. I
So
mean, that's the thing is, and some people are too scared to share that love. I'm giving all my love out, but anybody going to give the love back? How do I replenish? Well, when you step into the essence of God's love, you are
yeah,
constantly being replenished in that love. The more you give away, the more you're generating more love, right?
exactly.
But we don't
Yes.
know that straight away. It's kind of like, you know, and we're not taught to be grateful and say thank you. And gratitude, a simple thank you, as in
Unfortunately,
is huge. Just saying
that's
thank you.
right. And even in comforting someone, I think is a natural tendency for us to get into solutions mode. Oh, you have
Yeah.
a problem, let me fix it. But
Hmm.
oftentimes, before we get to the fixing part, we need to affirm someone and go and sit where they are for a little bit. Say like, "Oh, I can understand that really hurts and that's really hard. I'm sorry you're going through that." Saying simple things like, "I'm here for you. Whatever you need, I'm here."
Acknowledgement. Hmm.
But sometimes, even for me, we don't say that. We may want to, may mean to, we don't actually say it or do it. But until we say a simple phrase like that, it's so powerful. It does so much for someone just to hear, oh, just let me hurt here for a little bit. I need to be here for a little bit. Because sometimes, like, if you say, oh, I've been through it, I know what it's like. But if you say that, that's not really comforting because that may diminish what that
Yes.
person's going
Yeah.
through, right? What you're saying is not big of a deal because I'm just going to overcome it because you did,
Yeah,
you know,
exactly. It's a
right?
totally different journey and a different feeling. I mean, you can say, okay, I hear you. I
Yeah.
hear you. And in that way, it's like, okay, then maybe you do hear me. But it's as you said, and that's also been something, is when you're a solutioner, you
Yeah.
automatically step into solution based. But yeah, but this is where that listen, learn, and then apply. Because through the listening, you hear what it is they need. You're learning what they need. Now, through the God's wisdom, you know how to apply the knowledge they need in the now. That
That's
is
right.
the knowingness, right? But if you are not listening, how can you know what they need right now?
Exactly. My daughter actually gave a really good example, bless her heart, this morning. And she said, imagine a man falling into a hole. And when that man fell in, it hurt his leg. He couldn't stand. So here comes another friend and said, give me your hand, I'll pull you up. but he can't even stand to give you his hand. So what he really needs is for you to climb down that hole, go down, tend to his wound, help him fix his legs so he can walk out together, because he can't do it. He may want to do it. You can do all that, but you're hurting. You simply cannot stand and walk. So
Right.
that's why it helps for us to go into the trenches, hold people by the hand, step by step, find out what they need, and then the solution part. She said another thing that was very powerful. When someone's hurting, they are so hurting, they may not make eye contact with you.
Yes.
You're so hurting. She says, wait for the eye contact.
Yeah.
When the eye contact is a signal, now I'm ready for the solutions.
But
And when
that's
you,
the point. Now
yeah,
I'm ready.
right.
Right?
Then you can be ready.
Somebody, I want to come out, but I don't know how. Can you help me? Permission, free will. My
Exactly.
eyes are looking at you, pleading for help. Permission, free will. Until you have that person's permission, you cannot help them because you might be hindering them. They've
That's
got to want it for themselves in order for you to help them.
correct. You cannot want it more than somebody else. They have
No.
to want it badly for themselves. And then when they reach out, say, okay, now we can fly, right?
Yeah.
And earlier you mentioned about I think the concept of essence
Hmm.
um and someone's self-esteem.
Hmm.
So you need to guard that self-esteem and the essence of yourself and other people. I give an example of when we're a 2-year-old. A 2-year-old is not gonna ever understand the word no, right?
Hmm.
It's like, no, you can't do that. What are you talking about? Yes, I can.
Yes.
They're gonna ask why about everything. They're
Yeah.
so curious. So when life happens to us with all the trauma and hurt, we as people start to stem away, walk away from the innocent state of 2-year-old, where we should ideally all live. When hurt comes, you're like, "Ooh, I can't trust that." Now that's
Hmm.
scary. You become fearful.
Yes.
I can't
Push
dream
back.
that big,
Hmm.
right? But if you start pouring back into allowing yourself to trust more again and again, increase that, then all the drama and the trauma will heal and pour out of there, out of your cup. It's still there for your access. You can access those things for the teaching to overcome the duplication.
Yes.
But as you increase back your goal, the goal recommended is to get back to that 2-year-old state.
Hmm.
Dream big, become invincible. You don't understand, no, but your dream's too big. We want to always return back to that state so that each day we can come to say, I'm the hero of today. Whatever happens today, Sarah's gonna go dun dun dun, whether through fire, rainstorm, hail, whatever, you
Snow
know,
today.
no, whatever. You're gonna say, but I will do it with a cape
Mm.
on. I will do it with style. I would do it with finesse, right? This is a decision. How are you going to do it? Are you
Yes.
gonna do it how and wearing what? You get to decide that part, whatever the weathering is. So I find that way, they say if you're not having fun, you're not doing it right, right?
Exactly. But there's a big word here that I'm always saying to people.
Mhm.
A child is in exploration, they're in their self-discovery. We lose our wonderment as we get older. And when you can be in a state of wonderment, there is the what if. Well, what if it goes wrong? But what if it's something extraordinary?
Exactly.
And I prefer to live the what if it's extraordinary. I've
Same.
walked into everything pretty well blind. I don't know
Yeah,
if I can do it until I
yeah,
try. And you
that's
find
right.
out, oh, no, not for me. No, but I gave it a try. Or, I'm pretty good at this and I didn't know. Or
Yeah,
this really feeds me. This is that. But is what are we feeding? Is it like, oh, never work? Nah, no, never work. Well, no, it won't. Not with that attitude. But it's
that's
like,
right.
well, I have the core system that when the core says no, it's no. I don't argue. But if the core is not pushing me back and not saying no, it's like, okay, let's explore this. Let's explore the possibilities, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
I'm always given visions of where the universe is going to take me next. And this particular book, this Forgotten Children book series, has been 5 years in the making. I was given the vision 5 years ago, but I had to wait until the synchronicity of energies and time and people to come together. And when I started to explore it again, all of a sudden, and funny enough, all the people I thought that were going to be in the book and I had retired, gone by the wayside, and got too big for the boots, or whatever the case is. But I started interviewing people that you got to be in the book. You've got to be in the book. and they were all
Uh-huh.
just coming to me. But that is that divine synchronicity of now you're ready. Now the project is ready. I'm going to give you this person and that person and this person. And it's up to you to be open enough and wonderment enough to recognize it when it's there. And you can't do that if you're in societal dictation, or it's got to be this way and it's got to be that way. No, allow. Allow it to
That
come to you, and then have your eyes and senses open enough to recognize it when it's there.
by permission. When you
Yeah.
say allow, yeah, I think of by permission,
Mm.
and it's will you permit yourself to think differently?
Yes.
You permit yourself to heal? Will you permit yourself to thrive? Well, it's by permission,
Yes.
and you are in charge. You are the author and the driver,
Yeah.
nobody else. If you dream at night for yourself, why would you ever let someone dream for you in the daytime? Right? Is the idea.
Exactly. I like that one. Yeah. You know, this is our book of life, and we have many chapters. And some of those chapters you go, I'm not going to revisit that one. You know, in
That's
doing my own memoir and going through it, I wrote it in 3 weeks and then the re-editing and going through it again. And people said, well, have you gone into the juicy this or that? And I said, no, I haven't revisited the pain. I've
that's right.
revisited the story that was uncomfortable, but where it's led me, who
That's
I've become because of it, because that's the only story I want to share. I don't want to go back and revisit the pain, be there, done that. But it
that's
doesn't mean I've forgotten what happened,
yeah.
right? But I also am grateful to a great extent of many things that have happened. Sometimes I wish to God I hadn't been so thick and learned quicker, but you know, had to wait. You know, they call it the nudge, wink, wink, and the cosmic 2x4. I got the nudge and the wink, wink, but are you not listening? Wackaroo! Here's the cosmic 2x4. Can you hear me now? But but it's all of those things have made who I am today, and that is don't begrudge the journey,
That's
whether
right.
it's you're never given more than what your soul and heart cannot cope with, right? And when you allow the divine essence to come through you, you're not alone, you're in it together,
That's
and
right.
you'll find the purpose in it, or you or sometimes all the purposes is just to get you to that phase, just to get you to that stage, right? That's all it's
That's
meant to
right.
do, but it's about that
And
personal growth.
yeah, it is. And I struggle with growing up, like when people say learn to laugh at yourself. Well, there's certain times it's really hard to laugh at myself. It's not laughable. There's no way, right? And I'm like, what are you talking about, right? But you get to the point where can I really do it? It's usually after the fact. It's like, oh, look at how I dealt with that and how that I felt and rise there. And like just discovering how you respond to different triggers and things is a discover you. And it's a wonder because until you go through that, you don't know how you would respond to what you say.
Okay.
You have an idea, sort of, but some people also have fear of money and what it would do to them, or riches changers. Like, a lot of people have a common money minded fears like, oh, I don't want to be rich because what if they made me this and change?
Yeah.
But what I discover is for the fear of what people think will change them, what I discover in different chapters and corners and you turn, it doesn't change you. What I learned is it reveals you who you already are. You didn't
Yes.
know. It's a
Mm.
revelation. So I say get there quick because you're going to start discovering yourself. How does Sarah respond? And who is Sarah in this situation, and this situation, and this situation? Because the combination of these, how Sarah, behaved, responded, will make the whole of you, the character of you. And so once I learned to understand, I got more excited. Well, let's go there. How does
Yes.
Nicole
Yeah.
respond to a hot air balloon or in Greece? Or how does she respond when you miss the flight or when things, how you do, how you handle the stresses and things like that, right? It becomes much more fun.
Yeah. And it's okay to have the moments,
It is,
moments,
yeah,
right?
because it's
Like it's
human.
okay because those are emotions and those emotions are coming up. Why are they there? You've got a reaction. Okay, spend it and
Yeah,
release it. Just don't become emotional about your emotions, right? Those
that's right.
emotions are there. It's okay. Sometimes you get pissed. My daughter was meant to fly out today to Mexico, but we got snowbound. So I don't know if the flight's going to be later or tomorrow. She
Yeah,
doesn't know either, but
yeah,
it is what it is. And I think that is the thing sometimes. Is it in my power to change? No. So what am I going to do about it? Being uptight, does that help anybody? Right? I can have my moment of, okay, get it off your chest. And
yeah.
now, what are you going to do about it? Can I do anything about it, or am I just having to be patient and wait for when I can do something about it? And it's
That's
lighten
right.
up. And this is the cat. My kids have
Yeah.
no problem making fun of me. and laughing at me because they think their mother's quite
Same,
wacky, and
same.
who she is. And I've got two beautiful grandbabies. And, I love being
Mm.
silly billies with them, being absolutely goofy and silly billies and hearing that wonderful little babies and child's laughter. It's just nectar, absolute nectar. And I think it's
Oh,
like,
I love
this facade that you've got to have this image out there all the time. It's
yeah,
too hard to keep up with that. Just be your beautiful,
it is.
goofy self, and people will
That's
take you or
right.
leave you. And if they leave you, then they weren't meant to be in your arena.
That's right. It's about living and being human. I don't think you would be a complete whole being if you never got angry, if
Yes,
you never got pissed, if you never got depressed, if you
right.
were right, if you're happy, cheerful all the time, but never the other thing. I think the people make you wonder, like, who are you and are you fake and when are you not
Yes,
that, right? And so, but at the same time, when you are able to express, it makes you vulnerable and transparent. I find that usually when you're vulnerable, transparent, that you're more inviting
yes,
to let
because
people,
people
oh,
can
you're like
relate to you
me.
more.
Right.
Yes,
You're like
yes,
me. You have ups and downs, you feel things, and that means I can share more safer ground to share more of me with you. And in sharing these things, we have connection and there's
hmm,
closer. And when you have connection and network, you do more things together. And that comes with community, fellowship, leverage, the whole bit.
exactly. And I'm all about, the village is only as good as everyone's participation. And on
That's
the bad days, the people are there for each other. On the good days, they're there to celebrate. But everybody has a role to play. Everybody has a strength to give. And when the village supports one another, that village is indestructible. And that is what is your village? What's your community? And if we're not in there to share ourselves, share
Mhm.
whatever gift or instrument we are for the benefit of someone else, then there's something wrong because we're
That's
all
right.
here in service of each other.
That's right. And that brings a good point. So I would love to hear you share a little bit in your discover what you discovered to be your village, your tribe. And my tribe, what I focus on, as you traverse through life, you become more selective,
Mm-hmm.
become more focused. You
Mm.
know more of what you're going to focus on in your time and energy. And I
Yes.
find that for me, the term wellness 360 covers it.
Mm-hmm.
The wellness 360 means everything that's going to serve you well, have more of it. Anything that's not going to serve you well, say goodbye to it. See you later.
Yes.
And then what does wellness 360 really mean for me? It
Mm.
encompasses the spiritual, the psychological, emotional, the business side, everything, because when peace means without lack, peace
Yeah.
means those are well in those things. And so that because of that, I'm going to always want to up level my physical being because that's going to a gift to myself and give to those I love. The better I take care of myself in all those
Yeah.
areas, going to be the gift to present, right? I'm in my best shape as I could be. I could be best in my knowledge, my wisdom, my inner peace, my wellness, so that I can come from a place of overflow and love. So my mindset's always there.
Mm.
So my tribe is people who are gonna want to always be their best.
Yes.
They're not against wellness. They're not against exercise. They're not against. They are inspired and compelled and motivated just because they want to have more fun, just because they want to give themselves permission, just because they're the author and the designer of their life of each day. So it's like, okay, if I'm the designer of each day, then
Yes.
today I'm going to do something physical for myself, for blood flow. I'm going to do something spiritual for my emotional. I'm going to have some music. I love music. That's going to
Mm.
build me up, whether I sing it or listen it. Well, I find also singing is the active piece.
Mm-hmm.
The listening is the passive piece. We need both. And so
Yes.
I find that in these things, wellness, and most people like you and me meeting here, whenever social media, you're actually always looking for, like, are they my tribe? And
Yeah.
are they safe for me? Are you safe? Are you going to be safe soil for me to blossom? Because if you are, I'm looking for you. I want to
Mm.
connect with you. I always want to walk with you because I want to be blossoming. I want to be having
Yes.
fun. And what is that for you, Sarah? What is your tribe and what does that look like for you?
It's like when I first started podcasting, I've always been the soul and heart awakener, and that's what my job is to do. And so when I started podcasting, I didn't know where it was going to take me. at all. And coming up 12 years, going into books, mentors, and ask the, you know, the author the questions. All of that is the way it's grown and it's evolved. But all the beautiful souls, like for all the bad stories I hear, you know, hearing the strength and the courage and the abilities and all the light that people have stepped into in themselves and become that beacon of light for other people. So, you know, I am that library. I'm that library of for when people are ready for the clicking, ready to explore their own self-discovery, wanting to open up to that wisdom, that divine wisdom, and what does it mean for them and how do they see it? I've got this beautiful, diverse library of people that are all doing it in their own way. They're all doing it in a way that works for them, and they're sharing out that passion and that conviction. No comparison, no competition, but doing it from a place of truth because they are it. That means that there is somebody there for somebody, for everybody. Anybody coming in, there's somebody there for them that they're going to resonate with, and that's going to help them open themselves up, take up to that next level, rise up their frequency and their vibration, and then we become in that beautiful spider web ripple effect, part of the solution that the world needs. So I've stepped into being that library of this wonderful wisdom ready for the clicking. And I don't, you know, with all the genres I've got there, whether it's business or whether it's spirituality or whether it's whatever it is it coming from the heart? Is it heart-centered and heart purpose? Because if it's ego-centered, and if it's all about your fame, fortune, and everything else, I can't do it, because it's got to be, are you in service and are you coming from the heart? Because when you are coming from the heart, people feel that. It opens up their hearts. It allows them to start seeing different possibilities. So for me, the drive is to bring people like yourself with what you're doing, for somebody out there that's in their self-discovery, to looking at an avenue and a place to belong where they resonate with, oh, I fit there. I fit there. I'm amongst my vibe, brothers and
That's right.
sisters, and this is where I'm going. So I'm that database, I'm that library of bringing such beautiful, wonderful wisdom to people, ready for when they're in their self-discovery.
Wonderful. Yeah, so I see life as a playground. And you can say, come to my playground, let's play together. Say, when you
Yeah.
come to my playground, visit me, what will you be doing? Right. So
Yes.
for me, I welcome people in to say, hey, let's get healthy, let's play, let's get exercise, let's do our health. Let's talk about health in the spiritual and the emotional and then the business. How can we take what we love and then scale it and to be at peace, whether it's financially, spiritually, physically, so that we can keep traveling, seeing things, whether it's locally, domestic, or foreign, domestic, whatever it is. And we can invite other people along, like our family, our children, what kind of impact we have. How can we be a blessing to ourselves and the people around us and beyond? So that is
And
the
how
goal.
do we become that superwoman? So
That's
there's your
right.
book, The Dear Superwoman, because there's a superwoman and a superman in everyone, but we're addressing women. It is,
Right.
we know that actually by stepping into our superpower of being a woman and the way we see things, the way we nurture, and when we put that nurturing all together, that we really do become the answer for other people, because
That's
that's the way we were designed, right? So
yes.
the book, Dear Superwoman, is that a kind of a love letter to women to step into their superpower?
So it's an anthology, a collection of, just like you doing anthologies of multiple authors coming to share how God helped them overcome the worst, most adverse situations and where God shined for them to give people hope, encouragement, inspiration. So from each author, each of the stories vary so much. And so we're hoping that it will encourage other women. And Dear Superman is coming up too. That book
Yeah,
is coming up.
good,
So
good.
our idea is to inspire women to share their story, to be brave about
Hmm.
sharing those deep, dark valleys because there's nuggets in it, and then rise to their voice to have impact because that releases healing when you share your
Yeah,
story, right? Would you
it
agree?
does. It
And to
does.
realize that that is your superpower. The
Hmm.
thing you struggle with the most, what you overcome, is your superpower. You are here to help others do the same. So we're here to do it in community. We're here to inspire because it's doing much more fun doing things with other people than by yourself. I would agree,
It
right?
is.
You have
It is.
leverage. So
Yeah.
we welcome people into the community, enjoy that kind of healing, inspiration. And then if they're moved to, come and be an author, a speaker, a leader, or just to enjoy in the community, the fellowship. in itself.
So you've got a website. You've also got the 360 Wellness 360. Tell us how people can join and be a part of it, because you've got two websites here: findingjoyinthejourney.org,
Mhm.
and then you've got Godfident, so GODFIDENT.life.
Mhm.
So just tell us what each one of those sites represent.
Okay, so the Godfident life itself is going to be me sharing the daily method of operation, how I find my inner peace, where I find my shine, where I'm superwoman every day. And so I have an upcoming class on January 26th. It'll be a master class. And so you come and we are going to break things down, unpack things, and share nuggets with you. It's free. So everybody's invited. The more, the merrier. Is at Godfident.life. If you go there,
Oops, did we
can
lose you?
come
Oh, you broke down there a
see.
little bit.
Huh?
You broke down there a little bit. So just
Oh, so so back to the Godfident Life, it'll be January 26th. It'll go from 12 to 4. It's a master class. You come and you're going to be empowered to show up in every situation with joy and promise to learn how what I discover and how they apply to you, how you can use it. There's a VIP session before that where you can come just have questions, ask me anything kind of thing. And so it'll be very personal. And so go ahead and sign up for that. For the 365 journey, that is a devotional and journal that you can use to help you grow spiritually day by day with different authors also. And so that's new release. That's a new release. And the Dear Superwoman we talked about earlier is an anthology to encourage you to rise to your voice. The Wellness 360 piece is to invite you into two parts. One is to learn how to better your health, learn about cellular nutrition, have all the what to eat, how to exercise, how to keep yourself vibrant, sleep well, thinking well, in everything in the physical health, because it's actually tied, your physical health is tied to your mental health and your
Mhm.
emotional health. It's connected to your gut. Your gut is your second brain. So you got to get that well. If you are struggling, stressful in other areas, it points your way to look at your health to say, hey, there's some things to take care of. When you take care of all of it, it's all tied together, you can be Wellness 360. So go in there. There's tips for what to eat. There's recipes, exercises. Then there's the business piece that you can choose to be part of. And so in there, you can find all the information. It's all free. And I use it every day. So I welcome you to hop on there to enjoy and to get to your best health and your optimal life.
Excellent. And that's what it's about, is this willing to take the journey ourselves. Nobody can do it for you. But
That's
what
right.
you can be, as I say, inspiration begets invitation. When you're inspired by somebody else's journey, what they've come from, what they're doing, when you feel, oh, I feel that energy and I want to be a part of it, it is
That's right.
that's the invitation for you to step forward, to come and be a part of
Mhm.
it, dip your toes in, come and have the experience. Nobody says you have to dive in, right? You
That's
can
right.
come in and dip your toes in, come and have the experience. How do you feel after this experience? What is it bringing to mind? What is it bringing to heart, soul? But be willing to take that journey forward, because nobody expects you to get where we're at straight away. It is a journey. It's a journey to get here, but you can get there even faster than us because we've got the tools and the skills for you to do it. Right.
That's right.
And so that's take advantage of people that have been before you, because they've perfected those tools and skills that got them there, right? That
That's
now
right.
can serve you. So be willing to take that journey. Now, of course, you have a free gift for people as well. The my GPAbusiness.com.
Yes, so through there, it is a global community of women who are all in for growing more spiritually. When you click on that link, you get a free 7-day planner and devotional to get you started. There's a Sacred 60 challenge to help you in your faith spiritual walk each day to challenge at your pace. And you're going to enter a community of global women who's going to keep you accountable. There's a men piece called Real Men Alliance launching the end of this month. So men and women will be covered, but this particular one will be women for you to grow spiritually. But you also have an opportunity in there to be certified as a life coach, International Coach Federation certified. So if there you want to become a life coach certified, I welcome you to join there, even for making new friends and
Mm.
joining that tribe we mentioned earlier, because it's much more fun in community. And here in this community, there's something every day, whether it's a prayer call, whether it's a business empowerment, just meet and greet. So if you want to be more immersed and to just have more of that in your life, I have a lot of fun because the women I meet have a lot of things in common with me. It's not really easy to find as you're in your life, but once you
Yes.
tap into the right bucket, boy, it is so much fun. We travel, we meet together. We have some, I was going to show you in my Girl Power Alliance, we got together and we all got a crown like this. That's fun to show your daughter the king, to remind yourself to straighten your crown every day, to
Yes.
come from your authority. And so click on that, enjoy learning a little bit more to see if Girl Power Alliance is for you. And I think there was three things, right? It was, what do you have there, Sarah? Shows that you can click on get the free planner and the calendar, but also you can join my free masterclass and then the Wellness 360 community as well. So that covers the physical, the spiritual, the business, and the community. And come with that will come travel because we have events. So if you want more travel and fun in your life and community, if you want this growth in a safe environment where you can blossom, I would say hop on there and join. We'll connect and we're going to have a lot of fun.
Yes, you have the sacred60challenge.com/your name. So NICOLEGRIBSTAD. And then you can click on that as well. So yes, you've got a lot going on. So, whether people are just, wanting just to come in and listen a little bit more, or just to kind of what are other people saying about it, or, how can I benefit from a prayer or a business tip or this or that? I don't care if you're dipping your toe, putting your whole feet in, or you're ready to jump in. It doesn't
That's
matter
right.
where at, but having a community around that they're all in the same vibe, all in the same frequency, all coming from the heart, it can only benefit you. And you learn through that how much heart and soul and purpose you have. And now the greatest thing you can be is of service to someone else. But you can't be of service to someone else until at first you are service to self. And so you have to
Absolutely.
allow it to come through. You have to allow it to guide you. You've got to find out what your meaningful purpose is. But this is how you do it. Immersing yourself in the experience of others. Let it rub off on you. Let it open you up and let it make your self-discovery.
That's right. We covered a lot of wonderful topics today. With any topic you come, a podcast and such, most people get about 10%. Ideally, you get a pen and paper, take notes, and hopefully you review that. The Sacred 60 is something that can, because you talk about all these things, the last one is going to be like, but how do I do that?
Mm-hmm.
How do I apply it? How do I get structure? So the Sacred 60 is the how. It will take you
Yeah.
step by step, day by day at your own pace, exactly how to do it step by step. So if you want to learn how and really gain mastery on that and claim it for yourself, that's what you want to click on to just
The other
grow that.
thing you need to do, which really does work, is have a podcast party. You all listen to the podcast, you take your own notes, and then you start sharing.
I
What
love
did
that.
I get out of that? And then when you put everything like a smorgasbord on the table of everything that you've shared, that you each one of you got, my God, all of a sudden, look at all that wonderful information, just
Yes,
ready to be absorbed. So have the podcast parties as well, right? Book clubs, podcast club, it keeps on giving. But
I love
sharing,
that.
sharing, sharing, that is what it's all about.
That's a great suggestion, sir. I didn't even think about that, but uh the more the merrier, as I say,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
like you're watching a movie and you're commenting. It's much
Yeah.
more fun a podcast like that. So invite your friends, gather more. There's purpose, there's power in that. So I encourage that as
Yes,
well.
definitely. And this is how you're receiving where you're at right now. Somebody else is going to receive where they're at. It's a different perspective, but when we share those perspectives, it opens us up into that 360 altogether, right?
Yes, that's right. And no matter how old you are, what stage
Doesn't
you're in
matter.
life, I
Yeah.
find that everybody, Sarah and I included, need encouragement every single day.
It
As
doesn't
we
matter.
are encouragers, we want to receive encouragement. So we definitely invite you to connect with either one of us, both of us, and to continue to uplift one another to make our world a better place, to shine
We
and
are
to,
the solution the world is seeking. The more
that's
we
right.
rise up, the more we step into that beautiful, loving God and essence, and the more we become of service from ourselves to others, the more we actually create this harmonious world in which it is meant to be,
That's
right?
right.
Don't get
Change.
sucked in with all the things that are going wrong, you know?
Absolutely.
And even though that door in the devil's room may be pulsating at you, if as long as you don't go anywhere near it and try and open it and just keep in that other door, you'll be fine. So just keep
Yeah,
keep
change
going that
yourself to
direction.
change the world, transform ourselves to transform it. It
Yeah.
start with the the beautiful person in the mirror.
Exactly. It all starts with you. That's the reason that you're here. You are your purpose. Step into
That's
that
right.
beautiful purpose. Every single one of us is an instrument ready to be played, to find an orchestra in which to play in harmony, so that we can transcend that music altogether. So,
That's right. And it all starts with a decision.
mm,
Where Sarah and I are, it just is a decision. I want to do this, but guess what? When you do, like when you're talking about this podcast, you didn't know how many you're going to do. You didn't know how you're going to start, but you started with the first one. And I'm pretty
which
sure
was
after the first
disastrous, by
one,
the way. It was
huh?
disastrous. I pressed all the wrong buttons. It was disastrous because it was live. So, yeah.
But look at how smooth you are now. With
Mm,
each consecutive one, you get better and better and better.
exactly.
And I imagine in that time, I look forward to learning more about your books. And you wrote one book and another book and another book. Same with me. And another book comes. And so you have this collection to offer to people. And so everybody listening here can do the same. You take
Yeah.
the first step, you say yes. God will meet you at your yes. With the yes, you will make more friends. You have
Yes.
more fun. Write your books. Have your podcast. Just come have fun. Bring your
Yes.
impact and all your influence, all your
That
assets.
willing to just move a little bit forward, inch by inch, toe by toe, immerse yourself into it, but just trust you are so much more than you think you are, and allow yourself to be in that self-discovery, guided by that divine wisdom. So,
That's right. You're the X factor.
yeah.
Invest in yourself. They say if you have a job, you have an income, but if you invest in yourself, you have a fortune. So
Yes.
everything, when you open that door, you actually, what I learned is when God give you the assets and you don't use them, your world shrinks because you're
Yeah.
shrinking in fear. But when you're willing to step out and say, I'm just going to entrust into the Lord, your doors open, your community, everything is bigger. Even connecting with Sarah here, between her network and my work, we just expanded by a global
Exactly.
whole more
Yeah.
than, right? This
And
is
you
just
are
the
never
beginning.
alone. When you're with God's essence, you're never alone. When you join in with the community, you're never alone. And people are there wanting to help you. No matter
Yeah,
what the problem is, people will want to help you when you're ready to be helped. But
that's right.
the biggest gift is helping yourself.
Exactly. There's bad things that happen. It is out there as the devil's at work is, but God is on the move and God's
Hmm.
bigger and greater. And as long as God is, there's good things, good people, good solutions. So we invite you to come to be the good people that you are, to do the good things, to bring the good solutions. So
God is in, we are a part of Him where He's in with any one of us. He's just waiting to be ignited. So
that's
switch Him
right.
on.
And I'm so excited just to be here with Sarah to see what the Lord have in our future to come. This is just the beginning. So
Hmm.
very much more is to come. Once you link arms, what can we not do, really?
Exactly. Exactly. Isn't it exciting?
I
They,
love
oh, what if?
it. Yes.
Yeah.
And many, I'm thinking like, oh, we're gonna go to the tropics and thinking white sand beaches and resorts. I mean, you can do it on Zoom virtual or you can
Yes.
do it in person. There's
Y-
no limit.
Yeah. No, all you do is just find if it doesn't work that way, just look for another way it can work. Right? And that
That's
doesn't
it.
mean you don't do it. You just look for a different way. That's all.
That's it.
That's all. That's all.
So yeah, so hop on to those links and we'll see you on the inside. And I look forward to meeting each of you. And thank you for joining us today. And Sarah,
Thank
thank
you
you
for
for having
joining
me.
today. I kind of feel I've been interviewed by you, not the other way around.
That's the beautiful part. It's a conversation. It's
Yes, it
organic.
is. And
Right?
basically we've shown how you work and how you bring people out and how you make them look at that life. And that's what sometimes we do not see ourselves for, for a false image. And when other people ask us these questions and we have to think and we have to feel and we have to reveal ourselves, that's when we truly start to see who we really are. So you need
That's
somebody else that sees you in a different way to help you to see yourself. So thank you
borrow.
so much, Nicole, for being here today and sharing all your wisdom and your joy and your light. And remember, folks, life is about letting that divine in. And when you do, you realize why, what, when, whom, how. It's all there. The
That's
knowingness is
right.
with you, and you trust it because you know it to be. And that's a wonderful place to be. So thank you, Nicole, and to
Thank you
everyone
so
else
much
out
for
there.
having me. It's a
Oh,
pleasure,
my
Sarah.
pleasure, my pleasure. And to everyone else out there, she's got all the information. She's got the village. Go and join it. All
That's
right. They don't go, "Oh, it's not for me." You don't know. Go and participate. Make it, let it, just go and participate and see
yeah.
where it takes you. That's all you need to do. Go and
Come.
participate. Until
Come have
next
fun
time,
with us.
folks.
We're ready for you.
Yeah, exact. Open arms, right? Open arms. Open arms, just ready to share their love. What a great place to be. So until
100%.
next time, folks. Remember, to love yourself, you've got to actually recognize love elsewhere. And that love of self is just waiting for you to ignite. So until next time, bye for
That's right.
now.
God bless.
We hope that you enjoyed the show. There are so many more for you here on selfdiscoverywisdom.com. Just go to the podcast tab at the top there and you will see all the many genres and all 3,000 shows ready for your listening. We are here to serve you, to help you on your journey of life, and we know that through inspiration, it begets invitation. We are supported by you, the listeners, and those that we interview. Anything that you can spare us in donation would be greatly accepted, and we do hope that you enjoy the next show.